It's Friday.
And Ajoyeboa is here.
That's
yes,
right,
darling.
Right.
How are you, Ajoyeboa?
I'm good.
I love this.
You like it?
Yeah. Is it wooden?
Yes.
Was it
is.
crete?
It's got to be wooden.
The fabric is beautiful.
Yeah, it's so beautiful.
But the style is really
gorgeous.
creative. I really like what she's done here.
Yeah. I really
Now,
like
this is what I say.
You know,
you can
Kojo
take
has
a
never
shot.
really said anything romantic about, comment you, yeah.
About
But today,
me,
today really. Most all can in there, not today.
But
feel as
mean what you say.
Oh, he means it. Today, I'm telling you. I can read.
When have I not meant what I've said?
No, you have. But today, I mean, you're embellishing it with some.
You people are building a very bad reputation out there for me.
No, it's not.
By
true.
the way, it's Friday. We're all excited.
It is Friday.
Tomorrow we're going to, today and tomorrow we're going to Kumasi for a special wedding. Are you guys going for the special wedding?
There's a special walk as well, organized by Asempa FM, our sister
my
radio
wedding
station.
matter before we go to the
I thought you were doing, you were
Bit by
listing
bit.
the things that we are doing.
You want to mention the name? You want to mention
Not yet, but are you guys going to go?
Surprise.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, I'm definitely going.
Okay.
And by the
definitely
way,
going
that
too.
gives me the opportunity to say good morning to the wonderful people of the Oak Plaza Hotel in Kumasi. The new Oak
Hey,
Plaza Hotel.
well, funny.
Wonderful
why?
people.
Okay, listen.
Is that where we're sleeping?
Let me.
If you want to, why not?
Let me
I'm
do.
sure they will
Plaza-
happily accommodate
Let
you.
me do
Oak
my
Plaza Hotel.
acknowledgements well. My fabric from Woodin and the designer is Ajoyeboa Clothing. You can take a shot and copy the style, but it will not be the same. So just look for Ajoyeboa Clothing and give her a call.
Authentica.
And the fabric
Authentica.
must be Woodin.
Oh,
They've
this
got
is nice.
this whole new collection. It's really bright, it's colorful, like, variety. And you won't believe it. Just get into the Woodin store and make a selection. They can also help you. Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
and while we're at it, thank you to Robert and Sons for my eyewear.
Robert and
They
Sons.
continue to provide me with wonderful
Robert and
eyewear.
Sons.
I
Yes,
have a
Robert
special
and Sons.
dedication.
And you can copy the style, but it won't be the same.
All right. From the Hoga family.
Please go to Robert and Sons.
Okay.
All right.
From the Hoga family family of Akachi. This one is from your son, Mensa Oklu. Says Janet Afi Hoga, you are 84 today.
Wow.
You're in Accra. Good morning to you.
Yeah, happy
And
birthday.
happy birthday. 84 years. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. It's all from the Hoga and Oklu family.
I tell you who else is celebrating his birthday today, but I would like to show a picture. So if Fred, the picture is ready and you can put it on the screen for me, let me know and I can acknowledge, mention whose birthday it is today. So here we go. That's Mr. Fred.
That's our
Potterfair.
director,
He's our director.
Fred
Yes.
Potterfair.
Uncle
So happy
Frederick.
birthday
He's
to
a
you.
pastor.
Pastor Fred. Happy
Associate
birthday to
Pastor
you.
Fred. You can see his face. Yeah. I was at your wedding day or you were supporting somebody.
Roland, just say happy
You look
birthday.
awesome.
Hey, where were we zooming
Happy
into?
birthday. Happy birthday
Happy
to you,
birthday.
Fred.
Yeah.
Fred is a cool dude, man.
Oh, yeah.
So we usually have two directors on the AM show,
One is Patrick Gomez.
and Frederick.
Yeah, we don't know the birthday of Patrick
Fred
usually.
Potterfair. So that's Fred on your screen
Is
for
that
you.
your way of asking?
We celebrate you today. Happy birthday to you. May God bless you, continue to bless you. And,
Okay.
and enjoy the day.
So we have to do it for
Let's do the
Gomez.
newspaper. Okay, Fred, take your image off the screen now. It's okay.
Fred, go off.
Time for us to run through what's making headlines in the various newspapers that we have this morning on the show.
And we do have quite a variety for this Friday
We
morning.
do.
So I have the Finder newspaper and I'll do the Daily Guide as well. But there are many others on the table.
Roland will do his uncle's paper, the Dispatch.
Wafa. Wafa Krata.
Okay, so let's begin. I'll do the Times and the Daily Graphic. The Times first, front page of the Times. I've no personal interest in creation of new regions. That's President Akufo-Addo speaking to various chiefs yesterday, and the tone, it was really cool. Like, I am talking to you, I'm here, and I have no other motives apart from the wishes of the people. KMA owes 6 sanitation providers 100 million Ghana cedis. Aggrieved farmers threatening Farmers' Day boycott, but the Ministry of Food and Agriculture apologizes for the communication gap. Chief, 3 others killed in deadly clash, 14 injured. Government imposes dusk to dawn curfew. 3 teachers admit assaulting female students. In Ethiopia, soldiers wanted to kill me. I'm sure you saw that video of the Prime Minister of Ethiopia doing that press up with the military men. The conversation has changed. If we have time, we'll tell you about it. Back page of the Times, KMA owes sanitation providers 100 million Ghana cedis. The full story is there. And also conference on malnutrition and nutrition launched in Accra. Let me continue with the graphic. Front page, 2 die, 14 injured at Japekrom Drobo clash. Dr. Aban grabs 40 and the 40 award. Mixed reactions greet telcos tariff review. 5% adjustment takes effect November 1. Back page, World Vision provides wash items for flood victims. And Achimota Hospital Theatre shut down over broken down anesthetic machine.
Shall I do the daily guide?
Please do.
All right, then banner headline, Mahama soldier sacked from Burma camp. This is the story that has been showing up in the daily guide for a while, but I don't know, it just hasn't caught my attention yet. I don't know why I'm not intrigued by it. But the details are on pages 3 and 6, so please pick it up, and if you find out what it's about, you can share with us.
A bit of an interesting story. I don't know.
Yeah. Auditor General lies in quote exposed is also on the front page. 3 killed over chieftaincy dispute in Brongahapo, and Unibank directors punch KPMG. Some stories on the back page of the daily guide. Napo's AstroTurf takes shape. Star Times launches Ghana Challenge. Kiku produce stars for Ghana, and all set for Maltavator Challenge 2. You don't want to know what I almost said instead of Maltavator. Right.
Well, so we have. Okay, sorry.
Do the finder quickly. Sorry. Bloodshed at Drobo and Japekrom. 2 dead. Bullet stuck in the head of 1-year-old. Oh my word. Exhibition of voters register starts October 25. GDP growth hits 5.4% in second quarter of 2018. Forgive me. And strengthen maternal health institutions. First Lady. I think we talked about that yesterday. Right, that's me.
All right, so we have the Daily Dispatch newspaper has on the front page, Gang of 5 will have it tough selecting who to lead NDC. We also have, we would not cede Chereponi to Northeast region, Dagban Chiefs. And then last story, I guess last but one story that we have to take a look at. That's a headline. Bombshell or Bing Folk reviews those who come for buttocks and hips enhancement. But in the meantime, though, some 200...
He has revealed them.
We're told. In the story.
What happened to doctor-patient confidentiality?
Not their names.
As in his naming, he's telling us the people that come through his facility.
Well, category of people. Yeah, just not the names.
So he didn't mention
names.
Then why, that's a misleading headline.
Oh, why?
From your uncle.
The headline is supposed to catch your attention, so call your attention. That's the most important thing. Yes. So we have 212 motor riders killed in accidents in Greater Accra in 9 months. Okada. So those are stories that have been featured on the front page of the Daily Dispatch newspaper. Let's look at the Ghanaian Observer. Tension over new regions needless, attributed to the president. President Akufo-Addo lauds Bawumia and team for NAPCO. There's an interesting headline too on the other story, on the other front page of the Gold Street. It's quite interesting. Take a look at talking about NAPCO. We also have NDC Guru praises Akufo-Addo's free SHS double track, describes policy as Ghana's major blessing. High GDP shows potency. High GDP shows potency of economy.
Don't change the headline for the paper.
Dr. Gideon Ba.
Gideon Boako.
Gideon Boako,
Yes,
sorry.
he's a spokesperson for the
Yeah,
vice president.
yeah. But let's look at the Gold Street. It said NAPCO is to generate some 2.9 million Ghana cedis in each district yearly.
Generate it.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So we have 216 districts. Now, I did the math this morning earlier in the morning, and pegged it around over 500 and something million. Just a deficit of some 20 million if you compare it to the 600 million they've been given for the budgetary year. How they'll be generating this, I think it's not really clear.
In what? Like, how are they
maybe
generating?
where they're working, they're contributing. So perhaps maybe, I don't know. It's,
and that's the contribution, total contribution.
not as if they are
2.9 million Ghana cedis when we are spending 70 million per month.
Yeah, but overall we're spending 600 million for the setting up of the secretariat and then the 17 million.
The Gold Street business will probably have more details about how they'll be generating this 2.9 million and more importantly why it matters when they are costing infinitely more than that
I think it was just an average that they gave. They said 2.9 million will be generated from works of some 350 NAPCO trainees averagely in each district. So.
I saw a press release yesterday, the Ghana Education Service asking for vacant positions so that they can put some NAPCO graduates there. And I was thinking to myself, we didn't do all this before graduating them, you know, like, is it normal?
I listened to an explanation of Dr. Anyas on another radio station last night, and he sought to explain what the process is. And his suggestion is that all the organizations that are partnering NAPCO have already done some sort of assessment of their needs, and so they know exactly what skills they need and how many people they need, and so it's just a matter of plugging them in and placing them. But I think letters like this.
But the GES didn't do theirs.
You see, that's what I was saying. The letters like this show that perhaps what he's describing is what should have happened on paper. But in reality, people are now scrambling.
One of the, in fact, all the people that I engaged when we went there said they didn't know which offices they would be working or exactly where.
Okay, so they hadn't been assigned.
So they were, exactly.
Yes.
And there was a gentleman I found rather very interesting. He finished GIJ, the Ghana Institute of Journalism, and he's been posted to Cape Coast. And he's joining the civic education. So I asked, what would you be doing? He says, well, I'll be helping educate people in the Constitution. And I said, how much of the Constitution do you know yourself? And then he said, well, if I go to the office, they would do the orientation and they would, you know, teach me. So I said, well, not bad, but I feel like once you've graduated, the expectation is you'll be sent to the field to go and work straight away. But it means that we'll be doing training again before they settle. For me, there are two
things that I want to get answers to, a bit of clarity to. The first one is that clearly there is still a bit of processing to be done.
Yeah.
How long will that take? By which date have the government themselves set themselves a target that by this date everybody should be placed and working?
So we can monitor.
Yes. And will we pay them in the meantime?
Yes, we will.
So
it was a question I asked.
Oh really?
Yes.
So even
because
when they haven't yet been placed.
Well, because they've been doing like a series of things.
They've started actually.
They've started doing
I think the orientation or the training,
the refresher courses. I mean, if you're doing all that, you're submitting yourself through a certain process.
So even if you haven't been
they will be
posted, you are still doing other things, and so you will still collect the
stipends have been budgeted from a certain period.
Right.
So
okay.
yes, so they will.
Okay, interesting.
There's a story on the back page of the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Let's share. The Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly is indebted to 6 sanitation providers to the tune of 100 million Ghana cedis. This came to light on Wednesday when members of the Environment and Sanitation Subcommittee of the KMA called on the Minister of Sanitation and Water Resources, Madam Cecilia Dapa, in Accra. And according to James Nana Prempe, chairman of the 13-member subcommittee, the debt, which was accumulated over a period of 20 years, was hampering effective delivery of sanitation services in the metropolis. Mr. Prempe said although the companies were providing sanitation services, they were facing logistical challenges, adding that the KMA was forced to take over the management of a landfill because the company contracted to do so was constrained. So it comes back to budgets. In fact, money. How much money do we have, especially when we want to make not only Accra, but we want to have our country really clean, and we know that is one of the things on the heart of the president. Yes, so, but if we owe this much, how are we going to move forward? 100 million Ghana cedis, and this is not the entire country. This is just KMA, Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly.
But I think when it comes to this and the subject of owing or the debt to the contractors is important as well, and they have to be paid. It looks like we don't seem, after years of giving contracts to waste management companies to make sure that they sanitize the industry, we're doing enough in terms of changing the behavior of us as the citizens. Because I think that it's at the heart of many of the things that's got to do with waste. Many of the things that are confronting the companies when they go into the field is because we've had poor human behavior that has resulted in increased cost in trying to manage waste. And if we are able to tackle the behavior of all of us as citizens, then I think that we'll be in a better place in using what we generate as waste into some good value or some other derivative. But so far, the way we're tackling it is not the best.
Let me add something. I feel like we institute one thing at a time. So the behavior thing you talk about, which is fantastic, but it cannot go alone. It has to be, like, all the other things must coincide. We must do it together. Sometimes I get very frustrated when my bin is full and they're not picking it up. Like you are
even lucky to have a bin. You see, the people who are throwing rubbish into the gutters, they don't live in residential areas like you and I. They probably live in, some of these makeshift slums that have been springing up across the urban area. So Zoom Lion hasn't assigned them a bin. They don't even have the bin culture. So the behavioral change that you are calling for, they are in no position to act it out. We have to actually provide, like Mama B is saying, all the things required, so that when you go and educate them to do something, the thing you want them to do can actually be done.
Yeah, it must go hand in hand.
The bin is there. When they are walking down the street and they finish their yogurt, there is a bin. You know, so it's a chicken and egg situation. You can't do one and then wait for it to work before you do the next. You kind of have to have a sort of a holistic joined up approach.
We also have issues with landfill sites. The collectors will tell you that when we get to the place, we don't. How are we going to dump it? Sometimes the vehicles will have to queue for hours before they can empty them and return and collect. So we understand the issues. It's just how
the approach.
It's just, and then we need the recycling plants as well. I mean, all these things must work together. Then we can be somewhere. Until then, we would just be like a call. We say touch and go, touch and go, touch and go. That's what we're doing, and it will not resolve the issue.
A call says that.
Touch
and go.
Absolutely.
Touch and go. Touch and go. A call.
Any other interesting stories?
Yeah. How about this one? I've never reviewed a story from the Ghanaian Observer before. Today is my first time. But there's an interesting story here on page 10 actually. Tensions over new regions needless. And this.
Did you listen to the president's address, the chiefs?
Yes, but apart from the president addressing the chiefs, prior to when he went to the United States to attend the UN conference,
yes.
There was a Ghanaian who were told confronted him.
Yes, we saw the video. And he got very
incensed.
Yes, apparently when he spoke to the chiefs, he was also quite spirited. Is that right?
But what I saw, the posturing, it was as if it was just them and no cameras.
No, but we have to put also things into perspective. We have a commission that has gone round. It has collated views. Now, majority of the sentiment and the views will override perhaps the little sentiments that we have.
I think it's the voting, who is entitled to make that decision.
No, but we have to put that into perspective. The thing is, within the campaign period, both top political parties we have in Ghana, the MPP and NDC, all promise these same areas that they will be creating regions out of them. So we have to put that into perspective. So it's not as if it's a political issue. Now,
wait. That's Okay, well, go ahead. No, go ahead.
What
go
you
ahead.
mean is, it's not as if it's a partisan issue.
Yeah, it's not.
Because
it's
I was just going to say straight away, it's political.
Of course it is, yeah.
But I think in trying to make the considerations, we should, as much as possible, also try to hear the minority groupings out. Because within the majority voices are the minority groupings who are opposed to carving out where they are located, regions for which they are not having the right frame of mind for. Perhaps they don't have a better understanding why they need to create regions. And that is where we need to take the conversation to. Right. Did we seek their views enough to make sure that the conclusion by the commission will be all binding, and we also have their buy-in, and that's what I think we have to.
So this is why I wanted to review this particular story, because I think in the conversation about these new regions, there's an aspect that we haven't really paid attention to. How much is it going to cost us? And you see, I asked this question because look, in order to create a new region, there's a lot that needs to be done. You need to set in infrastructure, manpower. The state agencies that will now have to have regional offices, because we're creating 6 new regions, right? Security, annual cost to the state, how much is it? Have we asked ourselves questions about, setting up all the different NCC, SHRAJ,
they all need to
regional
have
security council
offices.
regional
administration. Is not even everywhere.
Yeah, but they have to be, right? If you are creating a new region, fire service, immigration, military.
So how many other things come with it?
Who has thought about this? Who has done the costing and said, this is how much it will cost us, it's worth it, let's do it? Has anyone done that?
Oh, I'm sure
Once
they,
again,
I'm sure they may have.
We shouldn't approach this like we did with Free SHS, where there's this bolster that, look, this is a great idea, it's brilliant, we're going to do it, it's our legacy, blah, 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 we're doing it, without giving people detail of how you are doing it, where the money is coming from. You remember, for the longest time, after they announced that Free SHS is going to go ahead, you couldn't get anybody in government to tell you where the money will come from. We were begging for the answer. Please, where is the money coming from? From the president all the way down, nobody was telling us where the money was coming from. Please, we can't do this with this exercise. If it is important, if really you want us to believe this is important, show us that you've thought it through. How much will it cost us? What are the structures that need to be put in place for all of these 6 new regions? And where are we getting the money to do it? Where is the money coming from? Let's answer these questions so that Ghanaians can feel confident that government knows what they're doing. Until then, all we have are questions.
But in addition to these questions, also is the whole sentiment about, well, if we say we're creating regions and the reason is that it's going to spur development, expand development, within the current structure we have, we can decide that Ashanti region, Volta region, we're going to plan Volta region in such a way that we're not only going to situate administrative offices in Ho, the Volta regional capital. We'll take it to maybe Tanyigbe district or some other district somewhere.
But
we don't necessarily need to create.
But you know the resistance and the views, the various views that have come with doing something like that. You have this person say, okay, why are you taking this to this particular place and not? So there are always different views. You won't have everybody agreeing, and we have to definitely use one of the processes. I guess that's why we are here, because if the president had decided that, okay, let's do this, or let's just say the Ministry of Local Government had decided that let's do that, everybody will be questioning. I think there's one place like that where people are still agitating.
For example,
why the district capital is here and not here.
Yeah, there's always there's been a long-standing issue in Ningo and Pram.
And there's another place as well. So we will not all agree on one thing.
But I think one thing is clear. As a country, we've had a commission. The commission has issued its report. We're going ahead with it.
Yeah, but I think the things that Kojo raises is really, really important, because it's not just about creating a region. It comes with lots of things. You have to establish institutes.
You're going to buy vehicles for all those offices.
To get the region working.
Create a regional minister.
I mean, it's just like we creating districts, right?
So we're going to have 5 more regions, a deputy.
6.
Okay, 6 more. and have so 6 ministers, the deputy 12.
So I guess we have to be.
They have deputy ministers, they do.
I don't want to believe that there are no answers to the questions that you asked. I guess that we have to ask the right questions and to the right people so we can get the right responses.
We need to answer the questions.
Any other stories?
Of those who are
let's see. We started with this issue. In fact, we were extensive on it yesterday. This issue about the tariff review on page 3, the Daily Graphic newspaper. Yes,
it was
I did.
Up in the sky. I thought we were going in the galaxy.
No, it was 5%. So 5. So the tariff increase of telecommunication service scheduled to come into effect on November 1, 2018 has attracted mixed reactions from mobile phone subscribers. While some subscribers have reacted angrily to the proposed increase, saying it is unnecessary, others say that they are not surprised in view of the fact that the economic situation is becoming difficult with prices of goods and services increasing by the day. The rest of the story, I'll leave it to you, comes with a picture of Ken Ashigbe, CEO, Chamber of Telecommunications Company.
I don't know where the graphic got mixed reactions. If mixed reactions is that those who are against it or for it, maybe are 50-50 fine, could be mixed. But I don't think that if you hit the streets...
Mixed? Even
but if you hit the streets, you have more people raising issues.
Okay, so you're looking at the audience, you're looking at the respondents one way. There are also those who are for. I mean, those who brought this, they are for it, aren't they?
Well, as in the what, government?
Yeah. So the audience is not one way. You have those who are for and against.
No, the thing is that I think
who in the audience? I mean, I understand the people in government want to raise revenue.
Yes.
So it's that
but
this
they
is
are
their
part
idea.
Of are they not part of us?
Who?
Are they not part of? Are they not part of us?
Government officials.
Of course.
The governed are part of the governors are part of the government.
No, but at the end of the day, we have to be realistic.
No, but even the telcos, because the taxes have gone up. So what do we do? Yeah.
But yesterday, I interviewed Kennedy Japan, who's the chair of the Communications Committee in Parliament, and he made an interesting point that the telcos should not be seeking to pass on all of the increase to the customer. That the idea of taxing a particular industry is that the industry is now supposed to split the burden with their customers. So if the increase is to be 5% because of the new tax, then the industry should be taking some part of that 5% and the customers take the other part.
But do we know if they passed all onto us?
We don't know that. It's not being it's not clear. I don't know whether Ken Ashigbe gave any
indication. Well, he said that already they absorb a certain line item.
We haven't heard from the MTNs, the Vodafones, the Airtel Tigos.
Well, you've heard from their chamber.
Yes, we've heard from them, but we need to hear from the individual.
I'm not sure they'll be willing to talk.
No, but they'll do, okay, well, let's wait for November 1 then, because I know that, for instance, I am on MTN. If you go to their website, you see the tariff charges and things like that. That's what I mean. It has to be spelled out to me. I need to know how much it's costing me more now. You get it?
Wow.
And that's what I mean when I say they have to be speaking to us.
You mean what the specific charges
also, effective November 1, this is how much more you'll be paying. This is how much a minute's call will cost you. We have the right to know that.
And I'm more interested in how the bundles will change.
Internet.
Because almost everybody buys bundles.
Yeah. And
right?
it's already
whether
expensive,
it's for calls or for internet. Yeah. So I want to know if I'm buying will it still be a 10 CD bundle or will it now be 10 CDs 50 pesos?
Yeah.
Or if I buy
10 CDs but less.
You see. So those are the things that really we need to get educated.
I think it's going to be the same amount, but only that the time and the data is going to be
as
far as same amount of money, same monetary value, but less value.
Already some of us are very suspicious. So with this one coming,
but I think that data is very expensive in Ghana.
It is.
You never get to find unlimited because sometimes when
expensive and unreliable.
Yeah.
It's a shocking irony.
Especially when.
So can we have like when you go elsewhere where like public places at least it's confined, but you can have wireless? Can we get something like that? And you log on, You use free internet sometimes.
The problem is that our connectivity itself, I mean, across the country, the coverage, and you know, the cost of doing business for telcos is quite high. Yeah. Look, every cell tower has a generator, and because all my life,
and usually they are not co-located.
Exactly.
They want to do it individually.
Exactly. You know, because I mean, for clear reasons, for obvious reasons, they can't. Yeah. So it's a complex industry. It costs a lot of money to send my, when I call Mama V for that call to happen. It costs a lot of money for it to happen, and the telcos have to make a profit. They have shareholders who are waiting for dividends, and so it's not easy. And somehow, in the middle of all of this, we of course demand the best service.
And they've got their corporate social responsibilities as well. We expect them to do significant things in the communities.
All right, so let's
go
quickly
online.
run through MyJoyOnline.com.
A salad nearly killed my brother. Yes, you have to watch what you eat. We all have to take a cue. Eating vegetables, a salad.
Nearly killed somebody's brother.
Yeah.
Please, let's hide this story from Sam, okay? He already wants excuses not to eat salad.
I took some pancakes yesterday. And it cost me. I almost couldn't make it here, not my life, but it cost me. I could have been confined to a certain place in my house.
Because the life of my brother, so I thought.
EC to set up committee to oversee implementation of ROPAL.
I love this one.
So there was a meeting, the MPP, NDC, all making appearances. We haven't had any objections from them yet, so
that's good.
Yeah. Jamaica qualified for Women's World Cup with help from Bob Marley's daughter.
Akusia Marley. That's nice.
Yeah. EU commits to Ghana Beyond Aid agenda. How? Check the story out. NCTE directs university heads to delete names of lecturers above 65 years from payroll.
This is just
That's all.
It is ridiculous.
I had an affair with a married man and we never even kissed. Oh, this will be interesting. How did it happen?
Mama V, the things that give you pleasure.
California students mixed grandparents cremated ashes into homemade cookies. Yeah, Kojo, you told us about this yesterday, including the grandmother who
stabbed her granddaughter and baked the body.
Oh gosh.
Oh dear God.
And there are photos. UTV's Efia Atre taken to the altar. Oh, you can check the pictures out on myjoyonline.com.
By Monday, we'll have our own photos as well.
Hey, you!
That's all I'm saying.
Chiefs wants out of OT region creation. It's also another story on myjoyonline.com. You can check all the stories out in detail. Just log on myjoyonline.com.
Yeah, I have this one. Mama V and Kojo, you have valid points. This one is from Nana Ansel before, Communications Director of MPP UK.
Oh, he is.
He says in all England, all these young graduates who come out are recruited to various institutions. Is that true? They get training and orientation before they start the real work they are taxed to do. For instance, last week, I forgot to touch with my Ulster card when I boarded the bus 38 to Holborn. Is that Holborn?
Holborn, yeah.
Holborn. Some little girl entered to check the bus pass, and she couldn't detect with a mobile machine, but the boss came and detected, and to pay some £40
some of
21.
these things with us.
That's revenue for transport for London. NAPCO is a great idea.
What you are saying, what he's saying.
But what you are saying is not the same structure like NAPCO.
Your narration is like me watching a movie.
Oh, why?
Yeah.
We have to take
I don't live it, my friend.
But I like movies. So what's the problem?
And now I watch at home.
I love NAPCO.
Please.
NAPCO is good. Well, we have to take a break. A NAPCO potential is around. That's Benedict also.
So it's Benedict and Selwyn for some Friday sports. Talking point still is that banter. Was it a banter?
It was insults.
Yeah.
From the man who came late.
The man who came late, who said, do you know where I'm coming from, or do you know why I'm late? Who cares? We don't want to know why you're late. Okay, Fred is sacking us. Maybe that's what's up next.